92% of households that start the year with Peloton are still active a year later.
All because of a fancy bike?
It's not just a bike. Peloton makes treadmills too.
All treadmills are the same.
Our treadmills can adjust speed and incline automatically, so you never break your stride. Whether you're squeezing in a power walk or training for a marathon, Peloton can help you achieve your fitness goals. 92% stick with it. So can you. Try the Peloton Tread risk-free with the 30-day home trial. New members only. Not available in remote locations. See additional terms at onepeloton.com/home-trial.
Ladies and gentlemen,
boys and girls,
I'ma let you finish.
I'ma let you finish. I'ma let you finish.
I'ma let you finish.
I'ma let you finish.
I'ma let you finish, everybody. We're back, kids. It's I'ma Let You Finish in partnership with Listening Party Presents and Canal Street Radio. Thank you guys for having us.
You can say that without even reading it now.
Listen, you know, it's like
I am impressed.
Remember to follow them and follow us. We're both on IG. We're both on Facebook. We're on Twitter.
Instagram.
We're on Instagram.
Stitcher now. We're on Stitcher.
Oh my God, we're on Stitcher now.
Which I gotta say, I never went to, and it's very cool.
Listen, it is. And when I told people we're following on Stitcher, people were like, "Oh my God, I'm so happy you're on Stitcher."
We've reached podcast nirvana.
It is. It's like Nirvana except without the drugs. Okay, so
hey,
it's our first show of the new year.
It is.
What'd you do over the New Year? Over New Year's break?
Being Jewish, technically I'm supposed to go to eat Chinese food and go to the movies, but I don't do that because I'm a really bad Jew. So what I did instead was lie around my house, because who cares, and play with my cats. And I watch Succession.
Oh, people
because I'm
talk
thinking
about that
of
a lot.
giving up HBO, so I binge watch it, and it's fucking great.
Okay, I
no,
hear
it's
that.
seriously,
Yeah,
really,
yeah.
seriously. There wasn't a bad moment, bad episode.
Okay, and it's 2 seasons in now, right?
2 seasons in.
Okay. Yeah.
And then I went to my best friend's house, and you know, it's like a new year, whatever. You still have to wake up
Right.
the next day. It's not like you wake up and they go, "It's 2020. Here's some money for you." Right. I mean, the good thing is, you know, the new year started with the Patriots losing.
Right.
Yay.
Right.
And then 2 days later, we're at war.
Right. I went to a New Year's Eve party where the person fumbled with the TV with 30 seconds. Yes. We missed the ball drop. When they got the TV back on, it was 12:01.
There you go.
Everybody,
and that
12:01.
basically, that sums
I was
up,
like, and that's my life in a nutshell.
and that's the thing. But the break is always like a time for binge watching.
Right.
And so I, because I like to be the 15th person into the pool and let everybody else do the work, my son had told me, I had seen adverts for this show, Top Boy. So my son told me about it. And I know it's not brand new, but I started watching it. First, I started watching it, and I didn't realize that there had been a previous season.
Yeah.
And so I started watching. I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? I was totally confused. So I watched the previous season with closed captions, because it's in English, from England, English. And I didn't, it's a bog, wom, bog, wom, bog. I have no idea what's going on. But I have to, all joking aside, even though I'm not new to it, it's really, really good. It's, you know, if you're a fan of if you're like me and you think the holidays should be about hot black guys shooting each other in the head and drug dealing and really good fucking music, this is the show for you.
Well, I thought I discovered a show. I was very...
And Courtney, I have to tell you, when you told me this story, I was like...
I mean, I could feel your judgment through the telephone when I said it.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I was like, I discovered this show, and it made me cry. I'm crying. So there's this little show that I didn't know was a thing that people had been watching. I saw this bride, and she came up to New York, and she went to Kleinfeld, and they put her in a dress, and she was crying because she was like, I don't feel worthy. And I was like, I don't know what this new show is. It's so sad, but it's so happy and inspirational. So I'm calling a friend. I was like, I discovered a show. It's called Say Yes to the Dress. It's new, and I could just hear the silence of death on the other end. He was like, motherfucker, that show's been on for like 25 years. I was like, what are you talking about? It's new. He was like, it's not new.
Well, if
it's been on for 55 years.
You know what? The important thing is, in this age of streaming and so many channels, if it's new to you, that's all that matters. Courtney Anderson.
But how did I miss this, which is evidently a thing? They're like, no, it's a thing. I'm like, oh.
I've never, if it makes you feel any better, I've only watched snippets.
I thought it would be dumb and I wouldn't care, but when I saw that girl from Georgia.
Wait a minute. You thought it would be dumb and you wouldn't care? I think what you mean to say is you thought it would be dumb and you would care deeply.
Law and Order wasn't on because, you know, that's all I watched.
Yeah, that's
and I'm turning the channel, and she's like, trying to find her perfect dress. They fly her up. He puts her in this dress, and you could just see the emotion. And then she starts crying about not being worthy. So I'm crying because she's crying not being worthy. And I felt like I discovered some shit.
Well, you did. You discovered it for yourself. I just want to take a quick sidebar, and then we'll get back on track. As we record this at the Canal Street Market, there is a convention.
There is a
K-pop trading card convention.
We were both like,
and
why aren't we in there?
And I don't know what I'm seeing, but it's
jam-packed.
It's jam-packed.
And I see these, now that they said that, I was like, I did see girls with these books, and they were flipping the pages at things.
I thought it was a go-see for models, for very small models. I was like, wow, they don't even use big pictures anymore.
I'm like,
and why do they all look like the same girl?
Right.
But
okay.
I just want to say
welcome
that...
to 2020, kids. It don't get no
Listen,
better.
in 2020, Courtney and I have discovered K-pop. And scene. All right.
Okay, so can we just talk about my girl, Meghan Markle, for a minute?
Okay. Speaking of my girl, when's the last time you watched Suits?
I had no idea who she was.
Me neither.
Until she started dating Prince Harry, because I don't watch Suits. And I was like, I don't know who she is, but if she's black, I'm down for it. And if she's going to be a black princess, I'm doubly down for it. So I was like, all right, I get with her. But I hate the fact that this story comes out and people suddenly are like, it's her fault. When I kind of almost feel like he didn't marry a lot of those other chicks. He picked the girl he knew would be down with him, to be like, I'm over.
He needed to get out of jail
He's never going to be king.
Never.
And it's like, he's really popular, so they want him. And I feel like he wants a different kind of life. And you know what? And he picked the kind of wife that he knew would be down for it. And the thing that I think people don't talk about enough, and I've heard it mentioned kind of, but it's always glossed over. I literally watched this white woman who's a royal expert on one of the morning British shows.
I don't think you have to say white woman when you say royal
But she was
expert.
sitting next to a black correspondent, and when the black correspondent brought up race, she kind of blushed over and said, we all get those kind of comments. And she looked at her and said, we all get those kind of comments? And I'm like, I think that's the part they just, the British don't want to say that out loud, but really a lot of, yes, she's going to get a lot of shit. She knew she would get a lot of shit. But a lot of it has been so overtly racist.
Well, no, I mean, look, the Brits, let's keep in mind that the royal family were Nazi collaborators. They were Nazi sympathizers, not collaborators. They were not. I watched The Crown. That's a show you might want to watch.
I got through an episode and a half, and I was like, I don't care.
So good.
I will watch next season when they get to the Diana years.
Oh, no, it's going to be more next season.
You don't think it's going to be next season?
No. They're only up to...
Aren't they to young Charles now?
Yeah.
So that
20-year-old Charles.
So that means next season would be Diana.
Maybe, yeah.
Because he got married to her. Yeah, that would be, the next season would have to be Diana.
But anyway, the point being is that, the race factor certainly plays, is certainly not to be. The American factor certainly, I mean, it's hard.
The class, all of
everything.
it.
And look, I mean, at the end of the day, what they eat don't make me shit, to quote the great Jay-Z. I will wake up in the morning. I'll still have to do it. The royals for us are like this fantasy. We didn't want to have royalty, but we find them fascinating. It's an issue over in England because of the who's going to pay for it. They are both tied to the royals and not.
Did you remember how many people when they was starting?
I mean, good. I'm just saying, good for them. I think. To blame her, look, Yoko got blamed for breaking up the Beatles. The woman
she still gets blamed for breaking up the Beatles.
Whereas she should just be blamed for putting out bad music. But that's a whole.
I love Yoko Ono.
I know.
I love her.
But the
Walking
thing,
on motherfucking thin.
that's
Hell
a
in
good
Paradise is motherfucking amazing.
Oh, they're
my God,
cheering us. What are they doing?
I don't know what's happening.
I know.
I want one of those cards. Give me one of the cards.
God damn it.
The only name I know is Jin. I think he's one of the BTS. I do know that name.
Why not? But the point being is that it speaks to a lot of different issues. He's never going to be king. He's never even going to be anything more than he is. A great headline said, 37-year-old man leaves home and gets cut off from his allowance.
Right.
He's not going to have to be hawking diet tea on television a la Fergie.
Or like Martin Short screaming about medicine, and the girl said, I thought it was a West Wing
No,
situation.
not Martin Short.
No, Martin Sheen.
Martin Sheen. Well, somebody's got to pay Charlie's bills.
I mean...
But Look, I think it's an interesting. The story is an interesting kind of microcosm of the debate we're always having about race, of the debate we're always having about class. She kind of knew what she was getting into.
Can you really know that though?
Well, I mean, I'm just saying she didn't. She
didn't go into it blindly.
No, she didn't go into it blindly. I think the main thing is that the press in England makes the press
they're
in the
hardcore,
they're hardcore, and that's really it. I think that if you have an option to go, I'm still going to get to be married to this guy. I'm still going to have money because he gets a £3 million allowance a year just for existing from a man that probably isn't his father.
Oh my God, that's terrible.
Come on, look at him.
People want to say,
look at him.
Can I just say this about
red hair is something that runs in genes. There is no. I mean, the Tudors are inbred, but the point is that they will be fine.
Listen, nobody's worried about. They will be able to make $1 gazillion if they just leave.
And the monarchy is not going to end.
No, it's not. But things do have to change. You always have to modernize something. It can't stay the same. I do find it interesting that all those same publications after the ITV special were all screaming, if you don't like it, leave. You don't like it, leave.
And now
so then they say we're leaving. How dare you?
You know what
How dare you think you can leave?
No, but you know what I think it is?
It's all clicks. If you can get the clicks, just keep the headlines coming. Click, 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 click.
What I think it is, honestly, and again, what I think it is, honestly, is the way they did it. I think they're feeling like no matter what you think about the Queen, that's your grandmother. That's
but you know what? There's been a lot of leaks. How did it really happen? We hear all these leaks. There's some leaks saying that he tried to tell them in her courtier or whatever they call them.
Courtier.
Kept
hype
them,
man.
kept,
hype man.
kept
hype
him
man.
away. So this seems like there was a lot of shit, and I do think there was a dig when she made her annual Christmas address and their pictures weren't there. So clearly there's some shit going on. Families have a lot of shit.
I'm a little afraid that you know this much about it.
Well, you want to know why I know this much about it?
Because you used to live in Queens?
No, because motherfucking Oprah. You want to know? Because motherfucking Oprah finds a way to be in every story. Oprah's even found a way to be in the Meghan and Harry story.
Bless her heart.
She screams that she loves bread to you.
Yeah,
she screams.
I don't want to see anyone screaming. Someone's screaming.
Right. I love bread.
Is crazy person on the corner.
She screams to you, "Come, I'm going to help you get a better life for a low, low price." For a low, low price.
I've had my
Come
issues.
How does she even find her way into this story? I'm like, why is it Meghan, Harry, and Oprah?
Well, because first off, all black people talk to each other.
I mean,
because Beyonce's publicist is better than Oprah's, obviously. Shout out to Yvette Nelshore.
Right.
I know. Oprah finds her way into it because I think Oprah seeks it out.
Kind of, sort of. It's almost like, I'm sorry that you miss your television show because you clearly miss it.
Yes.
Because you have found your way even into stories about a married couple that lives 6,000 miles away from you.
You could say Idris Elba broke them up.
Oh my God. Let's start that rumor.
I mean, Idris Elba has more of a connection to them than Oprah. They invited Oprah because that's what you have to do, is invite Oprah.
I know you have some feelings about Oprah and her now. The filmmakers are trying, they're great filmmakers, but they're trying to release this film before I think it's complete. So I have to remove my name from it. Her statement on why she's no longer involved in the Russell Simmons
is that what it is?
Oh, that's what it is. They're releasing the film at Sundance before she feels like the film is complete, but she will continue to do what she's always done, believe and support the survivors of sexual assault.
All right, here's my thing. I have had many issues with Oprah over the years. I mean, I respect the hustle, but I feel like Oprah, first off, I will never forgive her for the word journaling. That is not a word. Okay?
Is journaling not a word?
No, it is not a word. Okay.
Are you sure? Because I've heard that word long before Oprah.
Listen, okay, you're reading a book, right? Mm-hmm. If I say to you, Courtney, what are you doing right now? What will you say?
Reading a book.
Right.
But that's if I'm writing in my journal, I might be like, I might say writing in my journal.
You're not reading, are you? Are you bookingling?
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that journaling can't be.
It's a made-up word. I can't stand her. Anyway, and I thought Oprah, whatever. She's a decent enough interview. I think she kind of she's given us the world Dr. Phil, who's a fraud.
Who's not even a doctor.
Who's not even a doctor. Jenny McCarthy, who's a fraud. She's created a lot. Come on, Jenny.
You mean anti-vaccine?
Right, and I married the uninteresting Wahlberg.
But I actually like Donnie Wahlberg a whole lot. He's not uninteresting. We love motherfucking Donnie Wahlberg.
Well, he's not a racist, at least.
Okay. Oh my God. Like what?
He isn't. Mark Wahlberg.
Like how they like.
Excuse me. Mark Wahlberg beat up has done racist thing in his. Seriously,
Has
you don't
he?
know? Yeah, he beat the shit out of a Vietnamese guy when he was younger and kind of was like, whatever. But anyway, we digress. The thing about we digress. No, not allegedly. He was convicted of it.
Really?
He did time.
Okay.
Yeah,
I didn't know
this
that.
is not an alleged.
And it was a racist attack.
I think when you yell, "You fucking blank," yeah. But we digress, which is the subreddit of our show. We digress. No, but here's the thing with Oprah. As a white woman,
Are you white?
I am.
Oh my God!
I think I liked it better than you said. Are you a woman? Thank
Yeah.
you. As a white woman, I am not going to seriously. I'm not going to participate in a conversation about what Oprah's relationship is with black men,
Right?
Because it's not my conversation to have.
Yeah.
And I would be, the Rachel Dolezal of music
Oh my
writers
God, that girl.
if I jumped into it.
Right.
So I have read things among my black friends on Facebook and Twitter
People are
saying,
upset.
right, that this is an issue that Oprah has had throughout her career, that she tends to side with the powerful white people.
Yeah.
Now, you can make the argument that, if you want to get ahead in the world, siding with the powerful people is always a good idea.
Yeah, but then it gets to the point where they look at Oprah and you are the powerful people.
Right.
Oh, and you're still wielding that
Right.
sword in that direction.
Right.
There's a million pictures we've seen of you and Harvey Weinstein
Right.
like that's your friend.
And
you
it
said
wasn't
nothing.
a deep, dark secret
You know
about
what
him.
I mean?
It
It's
was
like-
not a deep, dark
Yeah,
secret.
so I absolutely see both sides of that argument.
Oh, I
and
do as
and I do
well.
look at her and I'm like, the way she's spoken about hip hop and then all of a sudden she becomes friends with some of those people.
Right.
But she said a lot of shit. Listen, first of all, I always say this. People need to stop taking their cues from people whose job it is to sell you something.
Well, no,
I say it all
and
the time.
ultimately that is her job.
Yes.
Whether she's selling candles
Yeah.
or selling salvation
Yep.
or journaling or whatever, she is basically that she's called a journalist. I mean, I guess she has a journalism background, but
Yes.
she's basically she's a personality.
Right.
She's not,
And she will sell you that advice for a low, low price.
Right, and she convinced a bunch of women living in trailer parks that what they really needed were candles and chakra cleansing as opposed to maybe like a high school education.
And this pashmina. This is my favorite pashmina. It's soft. It's beautiful. I gave it to all my girlfriends.
I
Ooh,
love bread.
yeah.
I love
But
bread. I love
listen,
bread.
Whenever I see her screaming about motherfucking bread,
At me.
I'm like, is this what it's come down to? Between that or like
WW.
between that or what I threatened my mom with over the holidays when she kept coming, I said, you see Joan London on that TV?
Oh my God.
I was like, do you see? There's a place for mom. Don't keep doing it. Joan
Right now-
London is telling me there's a place for mom. Stop
Right
yelling
now,
at me.
Right now, I am very, very much hoping that my son remembers there's a place for mom.
And then my mother got you see that vacuum over there? I need you to vacuum the house. So the vacuum went out.
But getting back to the Russell doc, look,
Yeah.
this is a story that is not a shock to anybody who's been. Listen, this story could be done about almost every powerful man in every form of entertainment.
Yeah.
Or job or anything. I just read an article in the Times today about a guy who was the head of some museum in Philadelphia, like a wunderkind, right?
Mm-hmm.
He left because he was propositioning the women he worked with, hey, come over. If you want a job, you can have coffee with me. And then he goes to another museum, and nobody told this other museum of his background. So it happens everywhere. Power corrupts, right? I do think, though, for Oprah to kind of co-sign on this documentary and then go,
It was
is
a really
bullshit.
lame excuse.
It's a lame excuse.
It's a lame excuse.
Because she has enough money to get this thing made. She could get this thing made tomorrow if she wanted to. And I don't understand whose ass is she kissing here? Does she really think that Russell, what is...
I do have a little bit of a different position than some of my brothers on this. I'm like, I understand the argument, but I think they should all go away. I don't care if you've done something to women.
Yes.
You should all go away.
Yes.
I don't care if you're black, white, or purple.
No,
I don't
all
care
of them.
what order it is.
No.
And I think we always talk about protect black women, protect black women, protect black women. Then we have to really stand by that too and not be mad at the order it's happening. This one went to jail and this one did. They all need to go.
No, when the R. Kelly thing, it's
They
like,
all need
okay,
to
so
go.
what we're saying is because R. Kelly it took him this long to catch R. Kelly or it took quicker to catch somebody else. No, they all have to go.
Like somebody said to me, they got Bill Cosby. I was like, when he was 80.
80.
They did not.
They've known since he was 50.
And we've been hearing shit about him. Really, if you have been in certain circles
for a while.
For a long time. And I this is something that I want people to really go back and pay attention to. Bill Cosby had a wide circle of male friends.
Right.
How many of them did you hear come out publicly and defend him when allegations started to come
I'm making
up?
zero here.
Exactly. And to me, that says everything.
Well, no one's defending Harvey either.
When not one of your friends comes out to be like, that could not be him, he would never do it.
Right. No. Well, no one has done that with Russell either. Except for his own family, right?
Isn't Russell still not even? Didn't he flee to like Bali? Isn't he still
well, he's
someplace
back,
on?
but Russell,
he is back.
But he did one of those if I apologies, which is not a real apology.
Right.
Yeah, I mean,
you know what's sad about it? It just lets you know how normal it is, how people treated and continue to treat women. Like when you hear all of these stories, you're like, wow, you guys really had a hard way to go.
Not just women, though. So let's be fair, because look at Kevin Spacey. It's men and Bryan Singer. Men in power.
Absolutely. But particularly if you look at women, because it's really, you hear all of these stories and it's like, that's pretty fucking
We're more
horrible.
vulnerable, you know?
Especially the stories you hear about women being like, I worked so hard for this career. This was like, I worked everything for this. I needed this gig.
Right.
And you're put in the position of really having to figure out like your livelihood, your self-esteem.
Listen, if you're an actress, and there's a great article in New York Magazine, because the Weinstein trial is going on now, and there's like 100 women.
Yeah.
Okay, let's just say 1/10 of them are lying.
Right.
That leaves, what, 90?
Right.
Okay. You can do math.
Yeah. To me, if one is telling the truth, that's all you need.
And
everything else to me is a bonus on top of that.
It's the same thing like the Trump. It's the same MO over and over. It's actresses where you go, Annabelle Sciorra, man, she had a really big career. What the fuck happened to her?
Right.
Huh.
Right.
I wonder what happened to her. She didn't drop out to get married and have a kid.
Right.
She didn't change careers. She suddenly stopped being in movies.
Right.
You know, and Ashley Judd. What weird. How come she didn't? And then you start looking, what's the common denominator?
Right.
That pig.
And you realize it's
and when your own brother says you're a pig too?
Cochon.
Cochon. Oh, wait, where's that from?
It's cochon. Well,
from that Law and Order. It's from the Law and Order.
Well,
with the guy who's the terrorist of the Montreal, and she's made cochon.
Well, I got my first cochon from, of course, my
I know it's an actual
goddess
word,
and patron saint of homosexuals, Madonna. In Truth or Dare, when she was like, yeah, Zsa Zsa Gabor, they wouldn't even let her stay at this hotel. And somebody said, why? She said, because she's a cochon. And from then on, I was like, well, cochon is in my library.
I know what it means, but it's really sad that I immediately thought of Law and Order.
Right. Well, no, that's an excellent thing. Speaking of Law and Order, the Coachella lineup has come up, and how... and it's a crime.
That segue has about as much coherency as the lineup this year.
It actually does, because it's a crime. When I see it, and I'm like, wow, they've really homogenized every festival in the United States.
I know.
It's like, it's now all about the biggest names, and it's a whole different thing. They sell out, like the festivals just sell out before they even announce. Like when I saw the announcement, they were like, Weekend Wonder's already sold out, pre-sale for Weekend 2.
Okay, here's my... First off, I've never been to Coachella. I mean, and
I'm
not saying
dirt, flower crowns. Like if you don't have all of the ultra VIP passes where you're in the back, it's a whole different experience. But all of those festivals,
I can barely handle Summer Stage. Okay,
right. Real talk, right? I don't like festivals.
At all.
I don't like to work them. I
want to be able to go and leave when I want to go and leave. Yeah. But the real thing that when I looked at the rundown, okay, whatever you may think of her. Lana Del Rey had a record out last year that made many top 10 critics lists.
It's a great album.
It's a very good album. Grammy nominated.
Yeah.
She's not headlining, but Frank Ocean, who has not put out a record in years, whose last, and I'm a fan, but his last 2 singles have sucked.
But people love him so fucking much.
No, but he is a notoriously bad live act.
That's not what people say. Like the people who love him seem to really love it.
All right, but I'm just saying in terms of pecking order, she deserves to headline.
Well, you know, that's the big thing. I look at Coachella, and when I just see, like, you know, they've had Ariana Grande, and I have nothing against her headlining. That's not even who would be at Coachella when it first started.
No,
but you know, Coachella to me is no different.
Neither would Beyonce.
No,
come on.
Coachella now is no different. It's Coachella, South by Southwest.
They're all the same.
They're all the same.
Afro-punk, all of them.
They're all. Well, remember when
come on.
The interesting thing about Afro-punk used to be, it really was like the black rock and punk punk kids,
Come
and
on,
then
they did in the parking lot at BAM.
And once they went for the names, it just almost became those guys were relegated to like a day stage in the park across the street.
I am pretty sure that I saw Janelle Monáe perform either in Fort Greene Park or at the parking lot at BAM as part of Afro Punk. Things grow, things change. That's fine. It's a big business, and I'm not mad at that. But I'm just mad at it. Like, once again, you can't find any women who can. It's so funny. Like, they spent several years putting atypical festival acts like Beyonce, like Ariana as the headliners, got amazing press. Everything was great, and then they stick Lo-Fi Guy as the headliner.
But that's all people are talking about. They all want to go see Frank Ocean.
Good.
Which, I think I've said it before. To me, I just find him overrated. That is my opinion. And like, people say to me, well, you don't like this song? I'm like, no, not really.
I like the first two, like we said, the first two
Nostalgia
albums.
Ultra to me was amazing. I love
Fantastic.
that. And parts of Channel Orange.
We're in agreement. And then and then it's Emperor's New Clothes.
Yeah. Now, you know what else is interesting about the music industry is, for the first time in decades, vinyl has surpassed CD sales in the United States of America.
And I'm selling all my vinyl. What do I know?
And it's like, vinyl has become back in such a big way. And at first I thought it was for the nostalgia value, but I think in a streaming age, there are a lot of people, including young millennials, that are getting back into that moment of picking up something and seeing the art, right? Because
it's beyond. I mean, even younger. Even younger, yeah.
You remember, like, I'm sure you're like me, growing up, going to record stores. I worked in record stores.
Me too.
The art was so important. And
first off, if you don't have an album, how are you going to roll your joint?
Right. There's that.
I mean,
that's a really important thing.
I mean, that's a really
But you think
thing.
about how many times you've, picked up something and bought it because, wow, that art.
This
it
looks
stopped
cool.
you in your tracks.
Well,
I discovered Nina Hagen before New York, her earlier albums, because I was in a record store and her art always caught my eye. I discovered Danielle Dax because her art.
Dax?
She's another one of those singers from way back in the 80s.
Okay.
Whose music, it caught my eye, and I would spend hours in a record store just looking at the art. And now art has become important again, with vinyl becoming such an important staple to the music industry.
Right.
And it's crazy how much albums cost. Because remember, albums used to be like $5.99, $8.99. Now most albums are like 20-something.
Well,
because
CDs they're giving away in the side of the road.
Really.
They hand them when you come over here, have a CD. Well, album art. It's funny because there were always somebody. The early Roxy Music covers. Somebody once said what was great about Roxy Music is that they had more people art directing and styling those records than actually were in the band.
Right.
Which which is fucking great.
Right.
I mean, and those were. They established a very typical, of course this is pre-seat, very very standard look, and you could say that a lot of Atlantic had a certain look to their albums. Yeah. Virgin had the Island for sure had a certain look.
Certainly, definitely. Island really gave you a lot of arty covers. That was Grace Jones. That's early. That was U2.
And the reggae stuff as well.
Marianne and all of the
I mean, that Catch a Fire album cover, Bob Marley, where it was the cigarette lighter, the Velvet Underground. Come on, I mean, you had artists of that. Andy Warhol designing an album.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Andy Warhol did Sticky Fingers.
He also did Warhol.
The first Velvet.
He also did the cover of Diana Ross's Silk Electric that has muscles on it.
Right.
He did the cover of his last work before he died. Is the cover of Aretha Franklin's third album titled Aretha.
I know, you told me that.
Yeah.
And Basquiat did an album cover for this punk band, this New York City, San Francisco punk band. It was, I still can't figure out how they knew each other. I'm assuming it had to be some sort of drug connection. I'm not saying that to be funny, because I'm like, how the hell else would these guys know each other? But you and I discussed this thing about album art coming back, and I would say that there is definitely... Vinyl is definitely back, and I think that there are still very, very strong images being portrayed.
Yeah, absolutely.
And a lot of it, I think, the Lana Del Rey, Norman fucking Rockwell.
Yeah.
That's a killer cover.
It is a great cover.
It's Ghost Teen by Nick Cave. It's a very enigmatic cover, and his stuff has always been interesting. And I would say what it is that if you're streaming, you're not seeing things as big.
And all of the detail of it.
Right. So it's like... These kids today, I mean, we sound like, why I oughta, but, they don't listen to albums as a whole. They listen to select songs. So is the art as important to them? They're wearing the art like as their T-shirts.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, I think
and
maybe,
some of the old, especially
Right.
going back to those, I see so many young kids and they have like Motorhead and Clash T-shirts,
don't know who the
and you
fuck
know
they
they
are.
don't know who they are, but
Yeah.
it's cool to them.
No,
You know?
I told you when my music journalism class, the first assignment they had to do is they had to research, mainly Black and Latino kids. I said, okay, those T-shirts you're wearing, you need to research. These are band. Yeah, it's the Ramones are an actual band. You do need to do that. No, and I think so. Maybe the album art, maybe the packaging like that,
Yeah.
is being translated in a way. People always have an eye for art. People
Yes,
always want all the
absolutely.
elements. I
Yes.
miss liner notes.
Yeah,
I
so
miss
do
that.
I used to read everything.
I used to write
down
them.
to
It's fun,
down
right?
to Herb Pump Power.
Right,
He
exactly.
mastered this album.
I miss who produced this.
Yeah.
I mean, I
absolutely.
want to know who played on this. It drives me nuts that I don't have the Raphael Sadiq, a copy of Jimmy Lee.
Right.
Thanks, even though I mentioned it 5,000 fucking times
You
on
have.
the air.
That's true.
Because I want to know who co-wrote these songs with
Right,
him. Who's
it's true.
playing? This is a
Yeah, yeah.
musician. I want to know what's going on. I don't need to know who's on the Baby record.
Right.
But anyway, what I was saying is that
I did like that, the Baby record.
Yeah.
Except he needs to stop beating people. Don't fuck your shit up at the beginning.
Oh, my
Don't keep
God.
getting arrested and for assault and beating people. Like I
you got
get
to work your way up to
I get
that.
so mad at these young kids. It's like, don't fight for the opportunity and then fuck it up with fuckery.
Well,
You
it's
know?
yeah. But I think what you're saying about art is really, really super valid. And I think that one of the reasons that maybe there's not as much emphasis, even though it's still there, money.
Yeah.
I mean, but that guy money and also the attention span of the listener is different.
Right.
If you're a kid who just wants to hear it immediately, you're not going to be checking for that. That's something where you have to take a beat and look at everything else
Yeah,
for us.
it's true.
I think that's part of it. But the man who designed all those 4 AD covers just passed away, and I
Yeah.
don't remember his name,
Yeah, I
and I
don't
feel
remember his
really
name
bad.
either. Yeah.
But you think about it, that was a look of a label.
Absolutely.
Do you think it could be also because there's not labels the way there was?
But there are the labels, and they're making a shitload. Streaming has brought so much money to all of those Sony labels, and they keep giving people new label deals. So there's a bunch of new labels.
No. I
and-
don't mean in terms of that. I'm saying like there used to be something like you knew what a Def Jam artist was. You knew what
Yeah.
a Virgin record or an Island record. You knew what a 4 AD. Do you think that's what I mean? Do you think that it's so much more splintered?
Yeah, a little bit, and everything is homogenized. It all looks the same.
Right. All right. This girl's
yeah.
out here posing with a dolphin.
No.
Should we
And
jump
wait,
the shark?
with like a tiara on her head, and it's a lot happening.
There's a lot happening.
I'm so obsessed. I want to ask her and be like, do you have K-pop trading cards? I need to see what those look like.
I think
But no.
oh, she has them on her phone.
Okay.
We're not young.
We're not. We are young. No, listen. I agree with you totally, and I think that I'm actually glad that we're seeing, because of vinyl, art making a comeback. Because
Yeah.
to me, I discovered so many people just because of their art.
Oh yeah.
To cover their record,
No,
then
you
make me read it and
pops.
be like, oh, this one produced this. I like this other record he produced. Well, I'm going to try this out anyway. You
I mean,
know?
come on, the Ohio Players, the
Right.
Diana Ross cover. There are
Right.
just some images that
Well-
are just iconic. Where you just look at this.
I had no idea that Scavullo
Scavullo. Say
shot
it 3 times fast. Say it.
Scavullo.
Oh, there he is. Ah!
I had no idea that he shot the cover of Diana. What made me go into that K-hole about
You talking
Scavullo
about
was,
the Chic record?
well, yeah, the Chic record. I had I've been looking for the Get It Right album, the second album that Luther Vandross produced for Aretha Franklin, and I found it at my little local record shop over the
Really?
weekend. Made me very happy.
Shout out to Pat and Emily.
Yeah, shout out to Pat and Emily and Cineblock people. Listen, people, support your local stores,
Yes.
support your local record stores, support my
Head
local
Sound
record
in
store.
Fort Greene.
Cineplops in oh, I love them. They're great. Cineblocks in Harlem West 142nd. Support them. Go. Great selection of music. I found it.
That would be great sponsors.
Yeah. We love those kids. They're
We
amazing.
love them.
So I was in there, found it, and what do I say? First thing I do is go to the credits.
Right.
Who did Luther write this one?
Right.
And then I saw, oh, Scavullo shot. I didn't realize he shot this cover.
Right.
And then I'm looking at, seeing, oh my God, and it's next to my Donna Summer Once Upon a Time. He shot that cover. So then I start looking, being like, what other shit did he shoot? Oh my God, he did the famous Barbra Streisand, Donna Summer, Enough is Enough cover.
Right.
He did the Diana, and then it's like, it got me onto this whole path of how art really played a strong part with great photographers in the music
and
industry.
again, it was also I think they were all around the same age. I think there was a glamour associated with them back then.
Yeah.
Annie Leibovitz did that kind of stuff. Matthew Ralston did videos.
And Matthew did, right. Matthew was shooting. First of all, okay, just a moment for her Brits.
Oh.
No one could take a picture like her
Beautiful.
Brits. The art that came out of that. Like, we lost so many people just so early. It's kind of crazy because the art that he created
it was amazing. But
gorgeous.
I do think that, I mean, unfortunately, it does boil down to a sense of money, though. And I think that there is, and we've talked about this ad nauseum, the whole idea of putting out an album now, or CD or stream, whatever, is so different. There is no lead up. There is no packaging. It's just get the motherfucker out. Right. So if you're like, get the motherfucker out, how are you going to go into a meeting and say, oh, you know who I want to shoot my cover? Blah, 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 blah.
Right.
It's not going to, they don't care.
Even though Stephen Klein does a lot for a lot of people.
Excuse me, they're walking around with donut holes and mini muffins.
Wait a minute. You were supposed to go make sure, listen, we stop everybody for a mini motherfucking muffin. Oh, I just want to shout out to, we have a bunch of like sex workers and stuff that listen to our show.
We do?
We do. And I want to shout out to all my sex workers and stuff who listen to the show because here's the thing. Wait, hold on.
I don't even want to know
they're in full prep for the Ho Olympics, and I'm really proud of you guys getting ready for the Ho Olympics.
Oh, look, they're handing out donut holes.
Right. And here's the thing. And for you kids out there who don't know what the Ho Olympics is, the Ho Olympics
was me in the 80s.
It is right. It is Super Bowl. We go from Super Bowl.
Oh yes,
Super Bowl week.
Yes.
To All Star Weekend.
Yes, it is.
Everybody's ordering their best Fashion Nova right now.
Yeah.
Everybody's on their diets.
Yeah.
Everybody's making sure they get their hotel rooms. Go make that money, kids. I love y'all.
I actually did an interview with Snoop Dogg and Michael Imperioli years ago for Complex, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they were super cool guys. And it was in L.A. and Magic Don Juan was there. And literally,
oh my God, I've met him.
I know, he's a trip. He's a trip.
Yeah,
he looked like Kermit.
Right.
And the entire set, like they were shooting everything. We were doing the shoot on the set. And they were like, hose to the left of me, hose to the right. And they had shipped them all down from Vegas because not only to hang out with Snoop, but because it was Super Bowl weekend or something crazy coming up. And
it's the whole Olympics.
It was the whole, and they were super nice. And one of them comes up to me and goes, I like your earrings, girl. And I'm like, is this good that a hoe likes my earrings? And I just remember that they got all this crossover food, like white people crossover, you know, like wraps and paninis.
Right.
And Snoop was like, In-N-Out Burgers, stat.
Right, I live. The one time I was on a set,
this guy was staring at us and creeping me out.
Is he cute?
No,
he's my okay.
No.
Wait,
he looked like Cool Keith had been left in water overnight.
Dirty water. My one Snoop experience on a set was he did a song with Kelly Rowland, and so we did a video. It's called Ghetto. Like Kelly had a song called Ghetto.
Bless her heart. I love Kelly, by the way. I love her.
And Snoop comes to do his part, and he's got his bus, and there's just a smell of weed coming out of it. It's like crazy. And he's friends with Brian Pumper. So Brian Pumper comes, who's a porn actor, and starts putting up these easels all over the sets. And it's all of his, he's putting up these big storyboard posters of his porn box covers. It's like Anal Adventures and some girl with an ass and all this shit. And so I'm walking past all of this shit, and I have to finally go to the commission. I was like, listen, I don't care that the weed smell is all here and there, these hoes, these people here that I don't know. But I said, this is not a Snoop video. It's a Kelly Rowland video.
Yeah.
And there are pussies on easels all around this set advertising his films. Get that shit taken down.
That's not a good work environment.
I was like, this is a Kelly video. It's not. If it was a Snoop video, there's nothing I can say. I was like, she's a young lady. We're not. No. And I have nothing against porn, but I'm like, she doesn't need to walk out past her trailer and see
pussies.
Brian Pumple's Anal Adventure Part 6. You know what I'm saying?
All right, we need to segue. Quick.
All right. Tell me if these lyrics mean anything to you.
Okay, hold on. Wait a minute. Let me sit up straight because I know it's coming.
Date one night, yo no say. Wrong or right, yo no say. Oh.
Okay, when Courtney and I, we've known each other for many years.
Mm-hmm.
And let's just cut to the chase. I love fucking Latin freestyle.
So
I love Latin freestyle. You love Latin freestyle. Everybody but Rudy Meyer, who we love, loves Latin freestyle. And it's the one thing that's really seriously wrong with him, because I love him to bits, but he doesn't love Latin freestyle. And I don't know what that's about.
Let me just tell you something that made Latin freestyle so fucking good. first of all, they were all love songs, right? It was always like either a breakup or some unrequited love.
No, or the celebration of love.
Yeah, it was always
every
love song. When Let the Music Play is kind of credited as
sort of the first, 82,
right?
Shannon.
When to me that song is
timeless,
brilliant,
timeless.
You know what I mean? You still put that shit on today,
perfect,
and everybody loses their shit and will sing along.
No, it's a perfect song.
And you know, to me, that's like the end of high school, college. So all of those years are like my chunk of really being out and going out, and that music ruled. Like KTU and the old Hot 97.
Right, the old one, right. KTU, oh my God.
You know, KTU was fucking amazing.
Yeah.
That was when it was 92 KTU.
Yeah.
And that music just ruled New York from the mid-'80s till the very early 90s. Well, and it was pop music. And it really was the first Latin music explosion, really. They give that credit to Ricky Martin in 99 having his whole moment on the Grammys, but it almost feels like dance music gets no respect, and because a lot of that was dance, people ignore the fact that there are people who had platinum albums, gold singles, #1 hits on the Billboard chart.
Right.
You know, and it's almost been erased. You never hear anybody talk about the fact that Sweet Sensation had 2 albums, both of them were platinum, and they had a #1 pop hit. The first album had 5 hit singles on it.
Well, I think I want to get back to that in 1 second, because what was interesting when I was sort of like revisiting freestyle and kind of researching stuff, was first off, it was so beautifully urban.
Yeah.
In so many ways, it
felt like the city.
It was dance music. It was to dance music what hip hop was. It was the Bronx. It was Italian Brooklyn, not
Lower East Side.
The Bronx and Manhattan, and Italian sort of. So it had that sort of feel.
And Miami.
Because
it started there. Came out of Miami.
And then it spread to Miami.
Yeah.
It also drew very heavily from electro funk, which were the B-boys. I mean, Planet Patrol. You hear that in some of the early songs.
It was very producer driven too.
You hear that. I even took note. You hear that in Let the Music Play, Planet Patrol. You totally hear that kind of sense. But I think it was a really nice bridge between hip hop for people who, the hip hop beats, the breakdancing beats, and disco. I think what was so great about Latin freestyle is, first off, it was just so emotional. It almost didn't matter if you were an amazing singer, because the emotion dragged you over the top. There was an over the top, almost like drama sense to it. There was an innocence to it. The girls were sexy, but it wasn't like so sexy.
Well, that's what I love, because you had certain people who really were the top of their game, right?
Right.
Like when the Cover Girls came, and the Cover Girls were I believe discovered and put together by Sal Albertino.
Is it the guy from Fever Records?
Yeah, from Fever Records.
Yeah.
And they were like almost modeled after the Supremes.
Yeah.
They always had on dresses or gowns.
Yeah, very
they were
classy.
Always hair and makeup.
Escape always had the gloves.
And we would go and we would always kind of, when they would play like at the Fun House or the Palladium or any club, it was always packed. It was like the Cover Girls. They were people really were the top. The Cover Girls were the top.
Right.
TKA were the top for male groups. Like,
oh my
they
God,
had
Louder Than Love? Come on.
Louder Than Motherfucker.
Remember when they Louder Than Love? You know who sang on that?
That was my shit.
You know who sang the guide vocals for that? Mark Anthony.
Oh, did he?
Yep.
Ride on the Rhythm, Mark Anthony.
Rhythm.
But Maria, all of that. And then you got for the girls, and then you got, let's stick with the groups. Then you got the girls.
Pajama
the Cover
Party.
Girls, they weren't really the top. Yo No Say ended up being their biggest hit, even though they charted like 3 songs.
No, was it Yo No Say What's Her Face?
No,
it was a solo act.
No, it was Pajama Party.
Oh, right.
No, Sarah was Summertime. Right. Daphne Rubin Vega was in Pajama Party. She went on to have other club hits like I Found It. That she had Rent, and then she's done a lot of TV and Broadway, and she moved into that thing. But you think of like a Sweet Sensation, like that first album. People always think of Hooked on You, but it also has Sincerely Yours,
and then Escape,
Never Let You Go, Expose. Escape was black.
Escape, right? Sorry.
Well, and the interesting thing about Expose is the original Point of No Return that we all danced to and Exposed to Love is not the 3 women who ended up becoming the face of Expose that we know. And I think it's an interesting story with them, because they have Point of No Return, the original one, and that's a big club hit.
Love that song.
And then Arista gives them another single deal, and they do Exposed to Love. That's
Right.
a huge club record.
Right.
So then Arista gives them an album deal. They go to record an album. All three of those girls are let go. And then the version of
Right.
Expose that we know, they re-record Point of No Return, start having huge pop
Right.
hits.
Right.
You know? So some people got to really transition from freestyle because that was back when major labels would
Pumping money
pick
into 'em.
pick these artists from these independent records and give them deals, you know?
I want to go back to the thing you said about Latin music, and then I want to continue. We'll talk about it. It's interesting you say that because when I was kind of, it was mainly like girl groups where it was mainly, Latina and black, Latin
Yes.
and black. But what was interesting, and maybe the reason it wasn't counted as part of the Latin exposure is until, and I did my research. I came in here with notes today, Courtney.
Okay, great.
Until Please Don't Go, there was in '85 there was a Spanish version of Please Don't Go.
Okay, and it was still Niobe.
Right.
Yeah.
So up until then, everybody was singing in English. So
Right.
maybe that's why it wasn't considered Latin in that sense, because it was so urban. Maybe the fact that Ricky Martin was singing in Spanish is what
Right.
made the Latin. It's the same thing like with reggaeton.
Well,
right?
no, I still think it's part of it is people in America don't respect dance music.
Oh, for sure.
They don't. So it's like, yeah, those songs are around, but da-da-da. Those people weren't real artists. They were all interchangeable.
Right.
And I think some of them got hurt because they were so interchangeable,
Right.
you know? But a lot of them got to go on. Look at the Cover Girls. They eventually ended up on Epic Records, and they had Funk Boutique was a big hit for them, and then their urban version remake of Wishing on the Star was
And
a hit for them.
didn't Lisa
Lisa was on Columbia. Those
No,
all
but
of
wasn't
CBS.
she? Didn't she become an actress? Didn't she have a TV show?
Lisa?
Yeah.
Yeah, she did.
She played like a mom. She started aging into mom roles or something like that.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I just
Oh,
love.
then my girl Sapphire.
Ugh.
Let me just tell you.
Well,
something.
Jelly Bean too, and Jelly Bean.
Well, Jelly Bean is still an amazing DJ and tours all
Right.
around the world, and is still playing and still produces records. And he produced the Mexican, which is seen as an
There's a
early
lot
freestyle record.
going on right behind it. Yeah.
Well, there's always a lot going on.
And the other thing, what I was going to say, oh my goodness. All right. In terms of the influences and stuff, continue what you're saying, because I just totally lost my train of thought because there was a girl walking by in a bondage outfit that scared me.
Listen, I think there's certain people and that I think we have to acknowledge in the genre. I think like Judy Torres, who to me
Lovely.
is the queen of freestyle.
Karina.
Because those motherfucking Karina.
Temptation.
Judy, and what was it? Fascination. She
Yeah.
also, Judy Torres to me just knocked it out of the park with Come Into My Arms, Baby, and No Reason to Cry. Those songs are freestyle classics. And then you have Sapphire, to me, was the young princess of freestyle, and she ended up on Mercury Records.
Right.
And she was the first Latina to be on the cover of Spin Magazine, and this is back when, magazines like that were really, they meant something in the
Right.
marketplace.
Here's what I want to ask you. What I think is really interesting is that a lot of those artists, not all, but a lot of them, segue La India for sure, Mark
Right.
Anthony,
Yeah.
obviously, Brenda K. Starr, segued into singing salsa and Latin.
And yeah.
Latin,
Well, they
straight
realized,
sang Spanish.
because I think they realized what's the life. If you're a club singer, you can have that life, and you
Right.
can tour around and try to keep doing those songs. But is that stable?
Right.
You can go around the world. It can get you a certain kind of life. But if you want to have a different kind of career and a different kind of audience,
Right.
as you get older, I think you need to have had some other genre to be in. And I think they were really smart to realize.
No, and they realized
this is some place for
and
me
their
to
core
go.
audience would stick with them because fundamentally they were drawing from those rhythms. The other thing I also really love about freestyle is that it always was exhilarating. Even the slower songs, there was
Yeah.
there was life to it. There was youthful energy. It was over the top and fabulous.
And it still is. And, we're going to put together, I know you guys, thanks for the feedback. You've been loving the playlist that Amy's
this
been putting
one-
out.
this
This
is-
one,
this
we're
is-
going to give you a whole bunch of shit because.
and shout
Hit
out
us up
to
on
the
Instagram and
artists.
tell us what your favorite.
Yeah,
and
for
hit us on
sure.
Twitter too, and hit us
Please
up
let
and let
us
us know what
know
are your favorite freestyle
what
records.
the freestyle, and we'll put them on.
Or
But-
if this is your first time and you're going to discover some of these artists,
Right.
Go in there and then find something. Let's talk about it. Hit us up online and let's talk about what you like.
Just to give a shout out to a friend of ours, Monica Lynch,
Mm-hmm.
Tommy Boy Records put out several box sets of freestyle music.
Oh
that
my
is-
God, the volume after volume with
after-
all of the hottest ones. Lizette Melendez,
Oh, Lizette
TK,
Melendez.
Lizette
Oh my
Melendez.
God, Together
Giggle,
Forever.
Wait, Giggles. I'm writing this letter
It is a little warm today, and I was going to wear bike shorts, but
or our producer Ann's absolute favorite,
which is
Little Susie.
Oh, I love Little
Susie. Take me in your arms and never let me go. And then
I was listening to Little Susie right before I came
and we got to
here.
give out a shout out because there were a lot of artists who weren't Latin who put out freestyle records that were really freestyle adjacent at that time.
Joyce Sims. Shannon, I believe, was
Joy Sims, Alicia, All Night Passion.
I would say, what do you say? Do you say strafe? Do you get him
Set
in
It Off.
sort of, kind of, sort of?
I wouldn't call. I don't think Set It Off is freestyle. To me, Set It Off is more club. It's
okay.
It's more
I was
freestyle.
wondering. And you know who else loves freestyle?
Stacey Q, Two of Hearts. That had the whole time.
Bananarama, Cruel Summer. They say Pet Shop Boys, Domino Dancing has a vibe. Yeah, they did. And New Order.
Well, New Order, because that was a big club song at the time, and it just fit everything. But I don't really think of that.
They claim it as an influence, though.
Yeah, but
they claim it
because that time that was the club sound.
Yeah.
So a lot of people, it was like, remember when the Soul to Soul sound came in? Everybody had like a Soul to Soul esque remix, and kind of a lot of adjacent things.
Arthur Baker brought, but I just think it's. I have to say that of all the genres of music that I love and I like, I'm happy that I like a lot. It's the one that has stuck with me because as soon as I put it on,
it makes you happy.
It makes you happy.
It makes me dance and sing Noel, Silent More. Like they were the guys who, like when Noel came out with the record,
Lamont.
They were big deals. They were the superstars. Like George Lamont had the movie star good looks.
Very good
and he
looking.
was always dressed well. He'd have on he just had, everybody had their personas with it.
But TKA, you could not turn on TV in this city, the video jukebox.
It's true.
Without TKA, was Louder Than Love was number one for how many weeks?
Right.
Every day.
And then when you look at people like Sapphire who got to go on TV, Sweet Sensation went on all of the TV at the time to perform their songs because they had hits. And I just think that all of that shouldn't be erased. And I hope you guys go back and really get into some of these freestyle playlists. It's still alive. I just was looking to see, well, where are some of the people?
Oh, they're still around. They
Sapphire,
tour. They tour.
And always play here. There's always freestyle festivals out at Coney Island in the summer.
Yeah.
And I just saw Sapphire doing something in 2019. And she, because some of them,
some of them have not aged well.
And not everybody sounds good.
That's true.
Because, back then when you're young and the voice is high pitched and now, your voice has changed.
It's changed.
I see some of them like that's that. But I saw Sapphire recently, and I was like, she sounded fucking great. She was singing Boy I've Been Told, and she sounded like Boy I've Been Told. And I was like, I live for you, Wilma. Her name is Wilma. I live for the fact that her name is Wilma.
Her name is Wilma?
It's Wilma.
Oh, wow.
Serving Wilma.
Oh,
Wilma was up there singing
God.
Boy I've Been Told, and I was like, you better open your mouth and sound like yourself. And then I saw one group who I should leave nameless, who I love. And I clicked on it and I was like, this makes me sad.
Well, I will say, Together Forever, Lizette Melendez is perfect.
That's
perfect.
a good one.
I mean, all of them. Oh, I loved
her urban follow-up when she got signed to Columbia and they put out the Goody Goody. That was my Goody Goody love.
I remember Columbia took all the writers and everybody to Victor's Cuban for food. And that was the only time I ever met Leor Cohen. But I always thought Miguel was there. And I just always thought it was so funny because Miguel was like, our friend Miguel Beguer, shout out, we love him. He's like, hey, man. She's not Cuban. She's Puerto Rican. Why are we at a Cuban restaurant?
Miguel's so shady. He's so shady.
It was true. But it was like so funny. It's like record company. Oh, let's go to a place. And I'm like, really? I get a record company meal and it's rice and beans?
But you listen. Shout out to Andy the Panda, Triple E, the Latin Rascals, Aldo and Amado Marin. You know what, Sal? These guys.
Masters at Work.
Yeah, they really Jelly Bean. They produced a lot of great work, a lot of really fun dance music.
Please check out the Tommy Boy collections, everybody.
Yeah,
really.
and then go in and listen to our playlist. We're going to put together a really fun playlist of some really cool shit of music that is, is underappreciated, I think, by the masses.
Yeah, but loved by those. It's one of those loved.
It really is,
but underappreciated.
And a lot of songs, and a lot of people who went on to have real careers and do different shit, and they're still out there working. Check folks out.
And check out, even though it's not a freestyle album, I would say I heartily recommend Lisa's first solo record on Pendulum.
Listen, I wonder, and that's after, that's Skip to My Lou and 2 singles from that album.
Skip to My
Lou and When I Fell in Love, I Never Knew I Fall This Hard.
Great.
That's a great song. But first of all, Lisa is different because Lisa was really smart. They got to transition and have huge pop number one
with
hits.
UTFO and full force.
And it became a whole other situation for her. Yeah. But, like, Expose became successful and those albums successful and they had big hits on Arista.
The hair was big, the earrings were big, the gloves were big.
And the songs just made you want to. It was like being with your friends in New York, summer, going to the beach, in the car playing the songs and everybody's just singing them, going out dancing at night
sitting sad and alone in a
the
bar
listening. Funhouse.
Oh yeah, I never went. I had a t-shirt though.
And Freestyle was a moment when the Roxy turned into 1018. There was a minute where the Roxy changed its name and now the club is called 1018 and that was when Freestyle was having a moment and that was there and we used to go in there and just dance all
please if we've done nothing else for you, register to vote. And
please register to vote.
And listen to Freestyle. All right. What we got up on the agenda here, my friend?
Well, I think it's time for our annual What Stupid Shit Did Meghan McCain Say Today. Except she didn't say anything a couple of times this week
because she took the time off because she was like...
No, the day after Page 6 reported, everyone hates her and no one's talking to her on the show.
Well, I think that she's probably surveying the damage that was done to her plantation in Puerto Rico because she is from a prominent Puerto Rican family. So maybe the Bustelo factory that she owns.
Well, Bustelo's Dominican. I love
it's Puerto Rican.
No, Cafe Bustelo is Dominican coffee.
Is it?
Yes.
Oh my God! I am absolutely I have no.
Cafe Bustelo.
I love Bustelo.
Yeah,
it's the poor man's Lavazza.
It's good.
But all I can say about. Oh wait. Now they're moving the K-pop cutouts.
Well, those always belong right over here. Those K-pops are right over here.
And they're back. We'll take our pictures with us.
I think one of them is Jin, the only name I actually know in BTS, because I've heard people say Jin.
And the other one is Juice.
But
it's Jin and Juice. I love them. Megan didn't say anything stupid this week
because she wasn't there.
Because she wasn't there.
After the post is like, everybody hates you, including Abby Huntsman. And you know, the source of ABC didn't deny that part. They were like, listen, they've been friends for a long time. They're just having a moment. I'm like, ooh, not the conservative girls being like, bitch, you crazy.
Yeah, well, it's,
On the words of your girl Whoopi, girl.
Take the earrings off, slap the white out for her.
Like, honey, Whoopi Goldberg. I want her movie to be over. She could take that shit out of her hair.
I'm tired of looking at that. What is she filming? The Godfather Part 7? You like it, Ann? You do?
Like, really,
Ann, get on mic. Why do you like that? Come on, Baba Booey.
I might need you to turn up your mic.
Yeah, come on, Ann.
Turn up your mic.
Why do you like it, Baba
Please
Booey?
Explain.
I think it looks cute.
What?
Show me a picture.
Look, hold on.
That white hair?
Oh my God!
Yeah,
hold on.
I like it.
You do?
You cannot like that.
You can mix shit up and it looks cute.
Well, seeing as how Whoopi has no taste in anything, I guess it's...
Listen, I love Whoopi.
Yeah,
now that part I can't do.
She dresses
you know
like
what? She'll
a
come through
person.
this phone and listen. I love Whoopi, and she has her own brand of weed, and I'm hoping she delivers some to the show.
Okay, shout out. All right, let's segue on.
Well, guys, we just want to say.
Oh yeah, first off, let's thank our the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame people for the nice. This is
what I want to say. We tape our show usually a couple of days before it lands, and thank you guys for following us. The shows drop on the 15th and the 30th of every month. Thank you guys. We really appreciate you listening. I know it's only 11 shows, but for us, we're like, wow, we made it to 11 shows.
We're so excited.
We're really excited and we're really happy. We want to thank the guys at Who cares about the Rock and Roll?
Who cares? They're great.
Who cares about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame podcast? And you should listen. Our show drops on the 15th. They have the new class of 2020 will be announced at about 8 a.m. on the 15th. So listen to our show first, and then they're going to have a brand new show and break down those nominations that you'll hear from us about it on the show on the 30th. Because, guys, as you know, Amy is a voting member of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Nominating committee, excuse me.
Yeah, so we can't
and
really...
in your honor, I voted for Pat Benatar.
Listen, Pat Benatar...
I think she's getting in.
She needs to get in.
She's going to get in.
She needs to get in. To me, she's earned her way in. You know what I mean?
Okay, I just saw a really cute guy walk by.
Oh, my God. Hey,
no, for me, on my team,
sorry.
I can tell.
Oh, okay.
My team.
Listen. If he likes titties, I have two. I have two titties and one ab. Come on, let's get it. Come on, let's get it. Hey, hiya, what's up? Hey, you want it.
All right. So anyway, we want to
listen, I want to thank, listen to those guys. I want to thank you guys for listening so much because, it means so much to have you guys support us.
Yes.
I also want to thank our partners, Canal Street Radio. It's amazing that they let us record here. It's been an amazing experience.
Yeah.
I really want to encourage you guys to also follow them and follow Listening Party Presents and really check them out online. They have a lot of podcasts that are on there. I think there's something that interests everybody, and we're really appreciative of being in partnership with them and being part of this family right now. It's been a great time. We love you guys for listening. It's been amazing. It's been amazing work with you, Amy. Listen, Amy and I are two different people.
We
you know
are.
what I mean?
We're not the same person,
and
believe it or
we
not.
like a lot of the same things, and we've been really trying to figure out how to get our opinions across. We have strong opinions, and it's not always easy when you're working with somebody new, but I really appreciate you, and I'm really glad we're having this moment. I'm
All
glad
right,
you
I'll
guys,
have sex with you.
Okay, thank you, because let me just tell you something. I'm going to take it from anywhere I can get it.
Hey, wait a minute.
Listen, that's no disrespect. I'm just so horny. It's like, hi, Tuesday, McDonald's,
Oh my
cheeseburger,
God.
dick, thank you.
Can I just, do we have time? I just want to
Yeah,
briefly
of course we
mention a
do.
couple songs that I've just, it's the first quarter, so not a lot of new stuff is coming out, but I will say that the new Selena Gomez record,
Oh, God.
Rare.
Yeah.
You know what? Seriously, I'm the last
You-
person who
but
ever
you
thought.
suddenly gotten into her.
No, I've always liked her, but I never heard an album. I would
Right.
like the singles. And the
Yeah.
thing I do like about her, all joking aside, is that none of her songs sound the same, but I always know it's her.
Right.
And-
Like Constipation.
Yeah, right. And she's, is she the greatest singer of our time? No, she is not.
I would
you
say
don't have
she's
to
a
be.
song stylist.
She's a stylist, and even
Yeah.
that's being kind.
But they write her good songs.
Those are great songs.
They
They're
do.
great producers.
They
It's
write- yeah,
it's a
the-
really seriously good record.
It's top-notch production.
Yeah.
Top-notch. They write her good songs.
And I also like this chick. I've just heard the single called Celeste. This British girl, Celeste.
I don't
you
know
would
her.
really
Okay, I'll check
like
it out.
this.
I'll check
The
it
New
out
York
tonight.
Times does a weekly thing of songs they're digging. You would seriously love
Okay,
her.
I'll check her out.
She won the 2020 Rising Star Brit Award.
Okay.
She's Jamaican and British. It's called Stop This Flame. It's built on a sample of Sinner Man by Nina Simone.
Oh.
No, it's like screaming.
Oh,
It
okay.
is
You got
literally
my attention
it's
with that.
literally screaming out
Okay,
your name.
yeah,
I was
okay,
listening
cool.
to it going, and it was going, Courtney,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
I
yeah,
couldn't
yeah,
listen.
yeah, I'll check that
the
out.
new Mac Miller song, Good News, he's somebody that I totally slept on because I
Right.
thought he was like a cartoon rapper. I didn't
Right.
take him seriously.
Right.
This is his first posthumous album, and it's produced by John Bryan.
Oh, okay.
Which is like
Yeah, that's
John
a-
Bryan is like is Fiona Apple. She's
Right.
supposedly putting out a record.
Well, yeah, she's been working on a record for a while.
Yeah, I've been working on a record for a while too. Sade is supposedly putting out a record.
Let me just tell you something. I want to be excited.
Me too.
But we've gotten a couple of new songs on soundtrack.
Haven't
I know
killed me.
Yeah,
No,
soundtrack songs can be very like give this to the soundtrack.
Right.
But it made me feel like okay.
Yeah,
all right.
it's like you're trying too hard.
It's like I told Celine Dion when she called me last night. I was like, less rouge, more eye
Celine-
makeup. And on that
Celine-
note, everybody.
Celine, stop calling me collect.
Okay, and on that note, everybody, we love you. Peace out. We'll see you on the 30th.
All right, bye everybody.
92% of households that start the year with Peloton are still active a year later.
All because of a fancy bike?
It's not just a bike. Peloton makes treadmills too.
All treadmills are the same.
Our treadmills can adjust speed and incline automatically, so you never break your stride. Whether you're squeezing in a power walk or training for a marathon, Peloton can help you achieve your fitness goals. 92% stick with it, so can you. Try the Peloton Tread risk-free with the 30-day home trial. New members only. Not available in remote locations. See additional terms at onepeloton.com/home-trial.
It's NFL draft season, and that means it's time to start thinking about fantasy football. FantasyPoints.com features industry-leading experts and prognosticators using proprietary hand-charted data to help you score more fantasy points. FantasyPoints.com is the place to go for whatever kind of fantasy football you play. Whether you play fantasy football, daily fantasy sports, or do a little bit of everything, Fantasy Points has the meticulously researched content to guide you to victory. And why wait for the fall? Fantasy Points also covers the new spring football league, the UFL. Join the guru, John Hansen, Scott Barrett, Joe Dolan, and other massive names in the fantasy football universe with an exclusive offer. Use code Pantheon for 15% off any Fantasy Points package, including the all-in package with access to every article, tool, and data nugget that Fantasy Points has to offer. That's fantasypoints.com and code Pantheon for 15% off at Fantasy Points. Fantasypoints.com, code Pantheon. Score more fantasy points.